Triple J and Carl.
And Carl!
Hello and welcome back to Hittin the Hay with Triple J. I'm joined by Jess Citronberg and Jackie Manning. And we're here to give you our insights before we hit the hay tonight. So, ladies, this week we actually had a Women in Sports Journalism seminar with Nora and Jeanna. What are your thoughts?
Who wants to start?
Okay, I can start. I think, I was excited, to see that this was on the lineup, talking about women in sports. I mean, we're all women who potentially want to go into the sports journalism field, and I think, obviously we have, some other women who are going to be on these panels later in the semester, but I think it was great to actually have kind of a topic to talk about it. And there's men in our class, so I think that was and women obviously, so I think it's great for everyone to kind of be talking about this. And obviously more and more women are getting into sports journalism, so I think it was great to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. The one highlight for me was really listening to Jeanna's story, her passion. That is a person who's really going to go far, and I think what I took most out of the entire seminar was just, her journey, how much she has to do on her own, and how she has risen, and I'm excited to see where her career goes. I will say,
going places.
Yeah,
it's
definitely going places.
I totally agree. I really fangirled over Jeanna. Definitely. I know from my internship this summer how much work it is to be a one-man band like she talked about. But for me, the thing that stuck out the most this week was, even though we were discussing women in sports journalism, we didn't get into any of their sob stories because they were women. I think it was Nora who said, people ask me what it's like being a woman in sports journalism expecting a sob story, but I love my job. And I think that was the right angle to, kind of go with it, instead of asking, oh, has anyone ever tried anything? It was a great way to look at it and kind of take the gender out of it and focus more on the work.
I will say I was slightly surprised at some of the answers in the seminar this week. Partially that one. I wonder if, you're representing an organization and a business, and there's a lot involved in that. So I wonder if there are certain things that they don't say out of, you gotta respect the job. I'm sure their bosses will know that they're doing that. You don't want to say the wrong thing. But I could be wrong. No, and I'm not saying everyone has a sob story by any means. I'm just saying that I don't think we really got into the depths of being a woman in sports journalism as much as I thought we were going to, and I don't think that's anything to how it was conducted or run. I think it was more of their answers.
I also would, kind of point at the questions as well. And I don't mean to, be disrespectful in any way. I haven't been running this sports broadcast seminar for 15 years, but... And obviously, when you're a man asking women questions about being a woman in sports, you, might not know how to ask them questions. But, something that really stuck out to me, and something that we were talking about before we started filming, was the, do you consider yourself a role model question? And I think that no men in sports journalism are ever asked that question. I don't think they ever expect to be asked that question. And it kind of just felt in a lot of the questions... Sorry, I'm sick. A lot of the questions, kind of felt like a beauty pageant kind of questions. And, I just didn't love that aspect of it, and, I don't know.
Yeah, and I will say there's one thing that comes to mind for some reason, and it was a Nora answer that she gave, and I actually don't remember the exact question, but it alluded to her saying that sometimes she'll use being a woman to her advantage when she's in the locker room by saying, oh, please, my editor's going to get mad.
They'll open up to her more, right? Didn't she say that?
Yeah, well, I think Jeanna said that too, and I
don't know. She said, she'll be oh, like, my editor is just, like, so mean. And, like, I really need to get
and
this
I had a problem with that. And I think on some level maybe she was trying to, you know, make light or be funny, but to me, one, I don't find that super ethical. And I mean, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah, but also, it's also, like, I think...
I don't know.
Yeah, but also, like, I think people have, like, everyone has, like, that thing that they do to, like, get a story.
I
like, whether or not, whether it's, like, oh, like, my boss is so mean, or, like, whatever, like, you have, like, some connection, like, you're, you know, like, I don't know.
And you're right. You're 100% right. And maybe it's just that it's personally not something that I would do, but I had a problem with saying the answer being like, yeah, so sometimes, like, I am a woman and I do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of counterproductive of what the whole point of the saying.
I know what you're saying, but I also feel like in the real world, you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I mean, it's not like she's going up and being like, here's my phone number. I really want a quote from you. Like, that's not it.
Yeah. You're 100%.
You know?
No, you're definitely 100% right. Both of you. It's definitely maybe more just like in my head. Like, that's something I do, but you're right. Like, if you're passionate and you want it, you got to do what you got to do to get the story. And I definitely think that Jeanna exemplified the fact that she's not afraid to ask the question. She's can, you know, sense the environment around her and figure out what am I going to do here that's different than these guys to get them to open up and talk to me more. So I think that's, you know, to just kind of connect that, I think that you do have to do what you have to do, but I think you can also do it in a good way. But I guess I'm not a working journalist, so yeah.
But I think it was, like, inspiring to see the two of them, like, and they're both so young.
Definitely.
I mean, Nora is only, like, a year older than us, or 2 years older than us, which is, like, crazy to think about, like, that she, you know, went to the Super Bowl to cover the Patriots.
Well, yes, speaking of that, too, if not to interrupt you, something that I realized a couple hours after class was...
Oh, I was waiting for you to bring this up.
I was a little upset we didn't bring it up and mention it, because I don't think that anyone should be off the hook for things. She was responsible for one of the most inaccurate stories out of Super Bowl week.
Yeah.
The story about Tom Brady and the dog, that was her. She wrote it.
I had no idea until today that she was the one who wrote that.
I know. And
but was that a story or a tweet? I think
I don't think it matters.
I know, but I think she tweeted Tom Brady telling us that he was bit by a dog.
Yeah.
But, like, didn't say this was a story from, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But so it was, like, I totally understand that. And, like, people started retweeting it, and people were like, Tom Brady was bit by a dog, and, like, that became stories.
Definitely.
And, like, yes, like, especially during Super Bowl week when, like, Tom Brady has to play, like saying that he was bit by a dog, like, probably could be misconstrued.
Yeah, I just think we should have asked about it so we could have heard maybe what happened and why, you know, what she thought she heard. I know it's a crazy week.
Yeah.
It's mayhem. Everyone wants to do, you know, get that story, get the news or get the quote and, you know, like, stand out. But I would have loved to have, if we could go back, I would have loved to ask her, you know, what happened in that process, and how did you handle it after?
And how did you recover from it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because
I wish I had, like, known that was her.
Same. I think what would have been so important is, you know, that when she did this, people were like, oh, this woman, you know, it's because she's a girl, she doesn't know.
I agree.
And I think that question, had I known that would have been such a great thing to bring up, because, you know, when she gets it wrong, so much more is put on her than when a guy gets it wrong.
Absolutely. And that kind of goes to one of the questions that was asked, and when they answered it, was like, it was more along the lines of, and if you guys can remember it too, please help me out, but the question about pressure when you mess up, like, how, as, like, a woman, is that different? I liked their answers by saying, no, it just bothers me because I want to do good at my job. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think about the bottom line, like, they don't go in, you know, seeing them. That was a good conversation to do at the beginning. Like, you're going in a room, they're doing this because they love the job. And you could see that passion from both of them, you know? But I think at the end of the day, you can't ignore the fact that when she messed up the Super Bowl, you're right. Oh, because she's a woman.
Yep.
But I don't, and they did say we don't see it like that, but there is pressure to do well because we want to, you know, do well. So that would have been really interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I will say, I thought what was even more great was even after class. I think that we really got to go up and talk to them. I know I personally asked Nora like a ton of questions about Super Bowl week, but that's a really interesting environment for journalists, and you have to go and network, and it's kind of funny for me to like think about that. And I guess one thing I never thought of was how much you have to deal with the agents and the PR people in sports journalism, and how you have to build that relationship too. So that was something to think of, because I never thought of that. And I thought Jeanna was so great and like gave everyone such good advice.
Yes.
I know you personally, like, you tweeted about it.
Yeah, she tweeted back at me too, so great networking through sports seminar, as we all knew Frank would provide. Well, that about sums it up for this week. We'll see you right back here next week when we hit the hay with Triple J.
Night night.